The mapping of files onto secondary storage, that is, once the files are created, during the time of execution, it is stored onto the secondary memory. The distributed systems is a collection of processors that do not share memory. That means the memory of one computer is not shared with any other computers. Hello everyone, it is Dr. Ravi Kumar YB, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's class, you are going to learn about the file management, which is one of the important functionalities of operating system. If that is the case, let us explain you about the file management and how the management of files are done by the operating system. A file is a collection of related information defined by its creator. That is, the person who creates a file is called as a creator. The computer can store files on disk, that is secondary storage or secondary memory, which provide long-term storage. That is, even after the power is off, the storage is the one which holds all of this information. Some examples of storage media are magnetic tape, magnetic discs, and optical disc. Each of these media has its own properties like speed, capacity, data transfer rate, and access methods. That means the file system are normally organized into directories. That is, if there is a folder by name called Vidhyaashram, within this Vidhyaashram, I have one more folder called this Ashram. Within this Ashram, I have one more folder called this B.C.A. Within this B.C.A, I have one more folder called C.A, Computer Applications. That is the file named called C.A. So the C.A is a program or a file which is present inside B.C.A. B.C.A is another folder or directory that is present inside Ashram. Ashram is another directory that is present inside Vidhyaashram. So, to ease the use, the directories may contain files and other directories. That is, these are called directories. Within these directories, we may have one more directory within another directory. Directory may contain these files. That is what is being explained here. The five main major activities of an operating system in regard to file management are the creation and deletion of files, the creation and deletion of directories. The support of primitives for manipulating files and directories are done by the operating system. In short, I will call this as an OS. The mapping of files onto secondary storage, that is, once the files are created, during the time of execution, it is stored onto the secondary memory. That is, once the power is off, all these file information are mapped onto the secondary memory. The backup of files are on stable storage media is done by the operating system. That is, whenever the file is stored in the secondary memory, it can be retrieved back onto the main memory, that is to the primary memory. This I/O management also includes the subsystem that hides the peculiarities of the specific hardware devices from the user, only the device driver. That means you can hide the information of a file and you can show the information to the user, or all these are certain types of operations which knows the peculiarities of specific device to whom it is assigned. That is, the owner of the file is responsible for doing all those operations. Generally speaking, systems have several levels of storage, including primary storage, secondary storage, and cache storage. Instructions and data must be placed in primary storage or cache to be referenced by a running program. That is the storage management. Now the storage management is the one that is the hard disk. Within this hard disk, we have certain information which needs to be processed. Generally speaking, these secondary storage and cache storage are used for storing the information in a computer. Because main memory is too small to accommodate all data and programs, and its data are lost when power is lost. That is, when the power is off, the data stored in the main memory is lost. So in order to retain the information which is there in the main memory, we will place it in the secondary memory. So whenever you require the information which needs to be processed, we will bring back to the main memory and we start executing. Who is going to execute that? Operating system is going to execute those programs. The computer system must provide secondary storage to back up main memory. That is, to back up the information from secondary storage to the main memory, the operating system must provide the information to extract the details of it from secondary memory to the primary memory. Then, secondary storage consists of tapes, disks, and other media designed to hold information that will eventually be accessed in primary storage. For example, primary secondary cache is ordinarily divided into bytes or words consisting of fixed number of bytes. Each location in storage has an address. The set of all addresses available to the program is called as an address space. For example, if you have a RAM like this, each of these locations are addressed with some specific unique addresses. That is 0, 002, 01, so on till F0. Similarly, you will come across this number, that is this FF. If that is the case, first location is called 00, 01, 02, 03, 04, so on up to 0F. Then 10, 11, 12, 13, so on up to 1F. 20, 21, 22, so on up to 2F. This F0, F1, F2, so on up to FF. So this is how each of these memory locations are addressed uniquely by the computer, so that each and every memory location can be addressed and accessed very easily. So there are three major activities of an operating system in regard to secondary storage management, which are: first one, managing the free space available on the secondary storage device. That is, the secondary storage device is the one which holds the information even when the power is off. So managing all these data, all these file-based information, all these data items in the secondary storage is done by the operating system. Allocation of storage space when new files have to be written. That is, when there is a new file which needs to be written into the secondary storage, it can be written by using the memory management. Suppose if there is any space which is not available there, then it can be allocated to some space where exactly the space is sufficient enough to store it in memory. Then scheduling the requests for memory access. What is the meaning of scheduling the requests? That means, suppose if there is any information which needs to be requested to the device, we can do so. Similarly, if you want to fetch the information from a device, we can fetch it so. So that is how we are going to do. Networking based operating system. The distributed systems is a collection of processors that do not share memory, peripheral devices or a clock. The processors communicate with one another through communication lines called network. The communication network design must consider routing and connection strategies and the problems of contention and security. That is, the security is a very, very important issue that defines the task of this. Now, the processor which communicates with one another through communication line, whether it is a LAN or a WAN or a MAN. What is the meaning of LAN? That means local area network. What is the meaning of WAN? Wide area network. What is this MAN? Metropolitan area network. So all these are networks through which one of the information or few of the informations can be exchanged with other computers. The distributed systems is a collection of processors that do not share memory. That means the memory of one computer is not shared with any other computers that do not share memory. Peripheral devices or a clock, whether it is a IO device or it may be any other type of devices which is not going to be shared with one another. And a clock. Clock means time, cycles per second. Everything is not going to be shared with any other systems. But the only difference is what? When one of the information needs to be exchanged, that can be exchanged with other devices through a network called local area network or a wide area network or a metropolitan area network or PAN, personal area network. All these are different types of networking topics that helps you to communicate with one another. That means when one of the computer wants to interact with another computer, we can do so by exchanging the information in the form of a networking information. That is, whether it is a LAN or a WAN or a MAN or a PAN. All these are certain informations. PAN indicates that Bluetooth or any other Zigbee. All these are certain information which allows us to, or a technique or a strategy that helps you to pass on the information within a vicinity in which the devices can operate on. This is how the networking operations and operating systems interact with each other for the successful execution of a program. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all.